Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to remind you, I think they've already had it, but I told you the other day that the Kava Network was having an AMA with the Kava Labs CEO Scott Stewart. You can follow, let's see what this is him. Scott Stewart, he did an AMA, but they had like some prizes they were giving away. So if you had gotten involved in that, I think you can go into their Telegram and watch this thing, and also I think they were announcing the winners at the end. They are also doing some giving a lot of developer incentives right now, I think, for their testnet. I think they call it like the Pioneer program, but give them a follow because they're extremely active right now in doing these types of things. Like on that one, they did 5 prizes of 50 Kava in that AMA. So check them out. You might want to follow them at Kava_platform. Now, today, John Deaton had tweeted this: I'm going to go out on a limb and predict Judge Netburn denies the SEC motion for reconsideration, affirming her ruling that the 63 Hinman speech emails to be produced. I'm also going to predict the Estabrook notes regarding the meeting with Roisman must also be turned over. And I said, my prediction, we never see those emails. Now this, I'm only showing you this because something just feels like something is in the air on this thing after that Gary Gensler, after he went on Jon Stewart, which I'll show you in a minute, after he went on Jon Stewart and he was talking about, sometimes we lose, we're against the backdrop last year when he said, we've never lost a case. I just thought that just hit me a certain way. So I was on a random message board today and I saw this. The guy says, anyone else heard the rumor settled? All staff on the SEC versus Ripple case have been reassigned a week until the news is public. SEC now hiring to prosecute illegal currencies. Now this might be probably is total bullcrap, okay? But it was interesting because TAIG immediately replied and he says he showed the tweet. I'm assuming this is where this originated. So it's probably nothing. I mean, it's probably no more than when BitBoy was doing his, like Anders L says, BitBoy says September. So it's probably no different, just somebody lobbing it out there, and they probably say they have a source and all that same old stuff. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Okay, Gary Gensler had tweeted, he was tweeting out this picture from the little interview that Jon Stewart did with him. And so it reminded me, and then this guy had put this out. That's right, because Gary Gensler brought up Bernie Madoff in that interview. So that's right, whistleblowers went to the SEC for 16 years with evidence on Madoff's Ponzi crimes, and the SEC ignored it. This was one of the SEC's biggest derelictions of duty ever. If the SEC did its job, it would have saved thousands of Americans billions of dollars. And then John Deaton came in. The fact that Gensler tried to give the SEC credit for Madoff was quite possibly the greatest spin ever. Now, since he brought up Madoff, I went back into my archives, said since Gary Gensler brought up Madoff on the Jon Stewart show, maybe we need a little reminder. We've been blowing the whistle for a year on the Ethereum free pass and the founders helping disguise whales in the Ethereum ICO. This guy right here was the actual whistleblower that the SEC did not listen to in the Bernie Madoff case. Listen to him.
And honored by colleagues as the man who went to the Securities and Exchange Commission and blew the whistle on Bernie Madoff and his $50 billion fraud.
How many times did you send material to the SEC?
May 2000, October 2001, October, November, and December 2005, then again June 2007, and finally April 2008. So 5 separate SEC submissions.
But something did happen. Corruption. They were meeting, remember this, they were meeting with their previous clients while at the SEC. Clients with very strong interests in outcomes that they ruled over in their government posts. Hinman even continued to earn $15 million from his previous law firm the whole 3 years he was at the SEC. You're either a horrible lawyer who can't see the conflict of interest, or you don't care because you're horribly corrupt. So you've got the skills or the moral compass, but you can't do this and have both. And when you're pulling in $5 million a year, odds are it's not the skills they're missing. And that is the bigger story of what is going on with the SEC and Ripple. It's not about cryptocurrency. It's not about about Ripple. It is about the SEC, specifically corruption and regulatory capture.
I'm not going to make you sit through that again. You've seen that. You know what that is. That's the disguised whales. Okay. Now, Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett are active today. Scoop: Eleanor Terrett, according to his latest financial disclosures, SEC Chair Gary Gensler is heavily invested in an emerging markets ETF that has 3% exposure to Russia. Big money managers like BlackRock have held informal talks with the SEC to exempt them from a 2016 law that puts a cap on the proportion of illiquid funds they can hold. This means that Gensler would be voting to change laws relating to his own investments. Big conflict of interest. We'll discuss at 1:24. So he's going to be on Cavuto to discuss that. Then Eleanor Terrett jumps in. According to his latest financial disclosures, Gensler is heavily invested in this ETF. Big money managers. So she's basically saying the same thing, and then Charles is going to be on that. But then she comes in with this programming alert. We will have Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse on Liz Claman at 3:45 to discuss the impact of cutting Russia off from SWIFT and the larger conversation surrounding the crypto markets. I'm sure Charles Gasparino will squeeze in a question about the SEC lawsuit as well. To clarify, it will be 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be watching for that, folks. I'm ready. All right. Jake Chervinsky, who is at the Blockchain Association. So this guy is at a crypto industry trade group that supports, according to them, the industry. According to me, they support Bitcoin and Ethereum only. They've never shown any support for any significant support for Ripple's case or for John Deaton. We've begged, we've kicked, screamed, asked. They won't answer the question at all. I have to bring that up every time their name comes up. And it goes for the Chamber of Digital Commerce too, and Coin Center. They all put themselves out as industry trade groups, but from what I can tell, they're only supporting Bitcoin and Ethereum. I've never seen Charles Hoskinson being helped by them. No one, except Bitcoin and Ethereum centric things. Okay, but I'm not saying the guy's not a smart guy, which makes it even more shameful. The guy is a smart guy, and he says it's not a bad idea to get your crypto off exchanges and into your own wallet soon, just in case. 2 risks: Russia may retaliate against sanctions by trying to hack exchanges and steal crypto. 2, you never know what Congress or regulators might do in a tense situation like this. I agree with him. That's why I keep telling you, top of the description, Ledger Nano S, get at least a good portion of your crypto onto your Ledger Nano S, folks. Okay? The link's in the top of the description. Now, I put this out. I'm not going to play it because I got a copyright hit in my first video today when I played the Jon Stewart interview with Gary Gensler, and that's the second part of this. But the first part, Gary Gensler says we haven't lost a case on August 3rd, 2021. In the second part is the Jon Stewart interview where he says we take some losses from time to time. John Deaton's take on it is he's been advised Ripple could achieve a complete victory. This makes Judge Netburn's reconsideration decision even more significant. Only when and if the SEC is forced to turn over the 63 Hinman speech emails, and possibly other notes, will the SEC come to the table, if then. And then Jungle Inc. came in. He had a take on it too. I take it as a threat. When negotiating a settlement, don't think he will concede much because he's willing to go all the way and lose. If that was the case, I doubt he would announce it to the world. Just a bully tactic. Maybe he's right. Now, I found this clip pretty fascinating. This is Mike Novogratz with Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor being the ultimate Bitcoin maxi. Some of the things Mike Novogratz says in this clip are pretty fascinating to me.
Right, the crypto world.
Before you watch it, let me remind you, Mike Novogratz is one of the people that was in communication with Bill Hinman between May of 2017 and December of 2020. He's on the list. He's one of the people. That is the time period when the Ethereum free pass was being worked out. So listen to this.
Right, the crypto world, in lots of ways, reminds me of when Uber got started. Right, you're able to smash a bunch of rules and break things, and we didn't have that luxury. We pretty much play straight down the middle. I used to have a sign that says "We're too rich to go to jail."
So that's the first interesting thing of this clip, is that he apparently thinks he's too rich to go to jail.
Even Gary Gensler, the new head of the SEC, he was really interesting. He taught a class on blockchain at MIT, and I taught one of his lectures.
That's the second interesting thing. That is the first time that I have heard a direct link between Mike Novogratz and Gary Gensler, where they obviously know each other. I've never heard him speak about a specific thing where he would have been actually in the room with Gary Gensler. And so that's interesting to me.
One of his lectures. And he said, when you regulate, you let small companies experiment and play in the gray zone, but you don't let big companies play in that. And so we started off as a public company, and therefore we've never played in the gray zone. And so we're pretty buttoned up in terms of, our processes around security, KYC, and all the rest.
Okay.
Right, the crypto world, in lots of ways, reminds me of when Uber got started. Right, you're able to smash a bunch of.
Okay, so there's that. Then TAIG. No, I wanted to make a point with this because TAIG is on it. He's asking Empower and Jason Foster, who runs it, if they submitted an FOIA request for meeting notes between Gary Gensler and the Gary Gensler team, transition team, and Jay Clayton. And he's pointing out that Gensler was meeting with Clayton right around the time that he filed the lawsuit against Ripple. But this illustrates a point. The Empower is just going to use these Freedom of Information Act requests, and they're going to create a spider web as they get ideas from each one. They're going to keep. That's the way I understand it. That they can do Freedom of Information Act requests all day long if the trail leads them in a certain direction. So this is great stuff right here. Okay, now this is just an interesting graphic I wanted to show you how reserve currencies have changed over 120 years. I've always believed that these digital assets, this was about replacing it. I believe that it's about going from the US dollar being the world reserve currency to going into the digital age with digital currencies and creating a shared digital currency or world reserve currency situation where there's a basket, some type of a compromise going into the next 100 years. And that's what I think these things are for. Now, Peter Schiff, who is a gold bug, he says the U.S. has just sent a clear message to China: sell all U.S. dollars and treasuries ASAP. This will be a huge problem for the U.S., especially with the Fed shrinking its balance sheet to the U.S. bond market will crash, taking the U.S. economy and the stock market down with it. And then this guy says that's the plan: crash all the economies to bring in NWO digital currency that they all agree on. It's beyond obvious what's going on here. New World Order by design. I kind of think that's right. I laughed out loud on this one, so I had to show it to you. This is from XRP, the Standard Productions. He's got 2 times circled on his version of Gary Gensler's calendar. But those are not the times to look at. It's all of the things going on around those 2 times. Look at this. This is, and let me make sure you understand. This is parody. XRP, the Standard Productions, is hilarious parody. At 8:38 a.m., Gary Gensler is getting a breakfast transfusion. 9:15, fireside document burning with Jay Clayton III, former SEC chairman. 10:15, prank settlement call to Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. Now that made me laugh. Meeting 10:30 meeting with staff to discuss favorite parts of prank settlement call. 12 lunch transfusion. 12:30 ritual of thanks to great horned one. 1:15 daily check-in with deep state reps. 4:30 p.m. meeting with Commissioner Pierce to once again attempt to convert her to the dark side. That one made me laugh too. 5 o'clock, supper transfusion. 5:30, evening preparations to enter regeneration chamber to replenish the life force. This guy, can a Twitter handle get an Emmy? Or is that just for TV shows? I don't even remember. I don't watch award shows, so I don't know which ones are for what. Okay, I think that's it. Look at Conspiracy Bot, book, TV. That's funny. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that Gary Gensler's calendar is looking pretty scary these days, according to XRP, the Standard Productions.